Although it has been named the Venice of Africa, the wooden stilted community standing conspicuously on Lagos waterways shares no aesthetic resemblance to the tourist attraction in Venice, Italy. However, it boasts of a united bond and resilient spirit for existence despite all odds. You're welcome to MAKOKO, a community caught between fighting for survival and expressing optimism for a better future. Existing for over 2 centuries, MAKOKO is an informal fishing village and one of the 42 slums in Lagos. It is usually a catchy sight as it floats along the 3rd Mainland Bridge, once the longest bridge in Africa and one of 3 bridges linking the mainland to the island divisions of Lagos State. Originally called OTTO, but now collectively referred to as Makoko Iwaya Waterfront, the community consists of 4 distinct tribes with over 100,000 residents, with at least 8 people per household surviving on less than £1 per day.
You are welcome. Thank you, sir.
Alashe Francis Agonyo is the community leader who welcomed us and shared a brief history.
Makoko background is as far back 18th century, when our forefathers, migrants from Odin Dahomey, today the Republic, they came for fishing. They came to settle at this Makoko when it was swampy, when there was no traces of life. Fishermen are waterbound. Why? The people choose the lowly area to stay is that they like to stay on water and by water shore because they are fishermen. Fishermen, they are the first settlers of Makoko.
In 2012, the community almost ceased to exist as the Lagos State government attempted to demolish it after an alleged 72-hour notice to vacate the premises.
The World Bank decided to do something for this Makoko, for development, but not to remove. But the state government, 2012, on the 16th of July, they stormed on this community. Many people died. They demolished many houses before a fatality of a leader made it to be stopped.
However, the Lagos State government posits that the last notice served was one of 4.
Lagos State will never evict anybody without serving all the necessary notices. You see, the law of physical planning, we are allowed to serve notices 4 times. The first one is contravention. The second one is quit notice, demolition, sealed up before they moved up, before they move into demolish. And all these notices were served.
Consequently, a regeneration plan was submitted to Lagos State's Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development. The plan is being led by Mr. Lukman Oshodi for Heinrich Böll Stiftung Foundation, one of the leading NGOs involved in revamping Makoko.
In that particular regeneration plan, we have up to about 3 to 4 different designs that can serve as a pilot or that the community can actually adopt and say, yes, this is the way we want our new buildings to look like. One of them is the floating school idea. One of them is the neighborhood hotspot design. Then there is another one design, which is a floating homes. So then the last one is the existing housing types on water. You will believe that most of these houses, they've been there for a very long time. But then the way they appear to be dilapidated as it is now. But if we have some good level of rehabilitation for these houses, they can still be there.
This comprehensive regeneration plan is believed to be a people-focused development model, targeting all aspects of life of the community. As we sail through the lugs and narrow waters, which are the streets of the MAKOKO waterside, women and kids paddle their canoes right along, hawking different wares that are vital to their daily existence, depicting how much the community has moved on from the demolition crisis and the uncertain future that lies ahead of them. They are of the belief that nowhere else can be home to them apart from MAKOKO.
But it's taking my young. I don't know that I'm taking my but it look no, I mean, not going out, so we'll obey down. A Julie. But you like I do running not going away, or so long young corner. And then I'll shove the lock Lugani, or the law obey. You let leg and go out, if I would have organic on door.
We are more than 20,000 people here in water, not MAKOKO in general. If you remove us where you think we are going to, the work we do here, they cannot move us from here unless they kill us. That is why we said we cannot be moved from here. Even if they want to relocate, there's nowhere we can go and survive.
Although some people think that the people of MAKOKO have been neglected and they are less privileged, these people exude so much contentment that makes you wonder the true definition of happiness. They've likened their existence to that of a fish, which needs water to survive. Coincidentally, fishing is the main source of livelihood. In fact, MAKOKO has become a major tourist attraction even with its current state. But according to Mr. Lukman Oshodi, it is sympathetic tourism.
The way the water system in that community is may not be good enough to attract any serious expenditure tourism. Rather, the way it is now, we are dealing with some level of sympathetic tourism where people will come, make donations to the community, and of course they take off after doing that, and of course feel a bit some level of pity for the community. But in the area of tourism, what we are looking at is that people should be able to come and say, yes, I'm going to MAKOKO. I'm going to spend the next 2-3 weeks in MAKOKO. And for that to happen, certain tourism infrastructure must be in place, among which are the guest houses, for them to really accommodate the visitors who will come in.
There have been several coverages, both local and international, from news organizations to NGOs. By now, one would expect a bit of upgrade in the community, but there's been little or no change to their standards of living. Interestingly, the people of MAKOKO are now very wary of visitors coming into their community, especially those with cameras. Now, to get access into the community, one needs to fill an acceptance form detailing the sole purpose of the visit and also pay a fee of 20,000 naira, approximately £47. Asked why some of the community members are hostile to cameras and coverages, we were told that some NGOs do come to take pictures of them but never return to fulfill promises made, while some portray them in a horrendous manner, which they fear might upset the government to eventually evacuate them from the waterways.
You know, when they promise, there is a timetable. Maybe an organization may want to do something this year now. If we don't provide a space or we are not united as such, they can go, they may not, some will come back, some may not come back. So not every organization that promised that forfeit it, but some used to do it. And this SLUM to school, that is ORONDAAM, OTTO, where we talk and co. There are some volunteers, they used to come from time to time. They are thinking something good about MAKOKO.
OTTO ORONDAAM is the founder of the SLUM to School project. He is fully called education by the people, mainly because of his focus to bring quality education to the kids of this environment.
We started in 2012 and started as a national youth service project, and today it has grown to be, a great organization, a big organization with thousands of volunteers across over 25 countries. And we started in MAKOKO, which is this particular community where we are. So what we do, in a nutshell, is provide access to education, provide psychosocial supports, medical supports, skill training and entrepreneurship programs for the young people, the youths who also volunteer with us within the community, and also trainings within the school, provide infrastructure. We've adopted this school complex because we believe it's not just enough to bring these kids to school. We also want to ensure that the quality of education they are receiving is up to par, and want to see how we can be critical stakeholders in that process.
As part of the culture way back, the first son of every family is trained to become a fisherman, while the first girl is trained to become a fish seller, which has deprived them access to good education.
We have lots of children who can now communicate, who were not able to communicate in the past. A whole lot has changed. The awareness for education has increased, and the interest has also multiplied. And now we have lots of children who are interested in education, not just because their parents want them to go to school, but because they can see it's more interesting. You come here, there are better facilities, not like the way it used to be.
As part of embracing the benefits of this initiative, kids like Moses have been able to access education alongside his vocational skills.
I'm a student, but if you vacate our school, I used to follow my dad to go for fishing. We use this net for fishing. We used to catch like 1,000 in a day, and we used to sell like 5,000, 6,000, and out of that money, my daddy used to do daily contribution to function in my education.
According to their Alashe, the people of MAKOKO consider themselves as one, despite the differences in local dialects. In here are the Egons, which make up the major MAKOKO population. There are the Yorubas, Ilajes, Ijos, as well as Igbo and Calabar minorities. On the 25th and 26th of March 2016, the maiden edition of the MAKOKO Day was celebrated, signifying peaceful coexistence among the residents of MAKOKO, as they have come to realize in unity lies their strength.
It signifies the unity that Egun, Yoruba, and everybody, we are one.
This community prides itself on being law-abiding and free from epidemics and pandemics.
You see the kids paddling canoes, they are waterbound. We are okay. There was no time epidemic reached our community. We are law-abiding, no thieves, no umbrella here.
As much as the people of MAKOKO radiate a type of attachment to their community, they believe there is much more that individuals and the government can do to uplift their standard of living. The floating school, which has now collapsed, was not as functional due to lack of qualified teachers and required educational amenities, while the health center is far from being healthy. There have been cases where pregnant women develop complications during childbirth and die before they are rushed to better hospitals outside the community.
So there's a lot to be done. Apart from putting these kids in school or supporting them to go to school, improving the quality of education, ensuring that we teach these children to be entrepreneurs, we teach them to be able to support themselves and sustain themselves and create jobs rather than come out of school to look for jobs. We are trying to build some kind of awareness where every individual understands that he is part of the solution and he is part of the government. So it's not enough to just criticize and condemn the government for not doing as much as you want them to do. What are you doing as an individual? So these are the key things we try to preach.
We need government to help us as we vote for all aspirants, and we put them there, but they don't think about us. Clinics, healthcare, schools, government, there's no government school among us here, except organization projects.
MAKOKO was regarded as an illegal settlement due to the fact that no permission was granted for the occupancy of the waterscape. The residents of MAKOKO are eligible voters. In fact, the commissioner agrees that the dividends of democracy should be accorded them.
Lagos is a mini Nigeria. Every state in this country has a representative there. So this government will not say because you are not from Lagos State and you live in a certain area, we drive you away. And once if they vote for us, the dividend of democracy must be given to them.
On the MAKOKO regeneration plan, the commissioner assured that it would definitely be adopted and will cater to different social classes, although the state government will be making few changes to the original plan.
You see, waterfront anywhere in the whole world happens to be the most expensive land that you can buy. It's only on this part of the world that we don't appreciate the waterfront. The ministry has their own regeneration plan, and we have consultants too. We have people that are ready to invest in MAKOKO. So we're having a series of discussions with them, which we are going to implement very soon.
Hopefully, that regeneration plan may be the light at the end of the tunnel for the MAKOKO Iwaya waterfront community. With that, MAKOKO just might turn out to be the Venice of Africa indeed. I'm going into the MAKOKO community to meet with the ballers to be able to get my permission to shoot tomorrow. Right now we are in is the project director for Active Infrastructure. I have been so stressed today, despite giving a 1 hour notice before the final interview. My production crew didn't arrive on time, and I've had to lose my appointment with OTTO Orondam at the moment. Today I'm meeting OTTO Orondam and he'll be taking me to MAKOKO. It's our trip to the band house. Do you have a particular name? Ekuleon.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we just finished the interview with the Alashe. We are at the commissioner's office right now, waiting for him to come out from a meeting with the governor. We're just waiting. One, two, three, go. Hello. Bye. Take care.